This is Rob Tubber for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted to be joined by Lupus Uliai, La'a Uli, and some other stuff that I've forgotten. Joseph Parker. We're down here today at Team Barry Gym in Las Vegas. Malo, Joseph, wa mai oi?
Malo, very good. I'm good. Good to have you here in the gym. Your Samoan's still good. And I'll teach you more phrases later on.
What Samoan are you going to teach me?
Whatever you want to learn.
Well, I know you're an honourable man, so I know it won't be any curse words. So we'll carry on the Samoan afterwards. I saw you a couple of weeks ago in New York. This is strange. Now on the other side of America, you were in New York for the Joshua-Ruiz fight. So let's start there. Thoughts on the fight?
My initial thoughts, I thought, for me, I thought that Joshua was going to box Ruiz from the outside, and I thought he was going to win on points, or maybe even stop him later in the rounds. But I think Ruiz, coming in with all that confidence that he had and a game plan and the pressure that he put on, he put on a great performance. And he never gave up. He got knocked down, came back, clipped him at the top of the head, and I don't think AJ recovered from that punch to the top of the head.
Now you mentioned that, thinking Joshua was going to box from the outside, similar to how he boxed against you. When you guys fought, he kept the distance. Sorry to remind you of that. Kept the distance from the outside. We didn't see that even in the first couple of rounds. It was a different type of Anthony Joshua. What did you see in there?
I think Andy Ruiz and myself are different fighters. I sort of move around and then sometimes go forward, move around, whereas Ruiz is sort of non-stop pressure. So I think, even though he might have practiced boxing from the outside in camp and with sparring partners, but when you have someone like Ruiz who just constantly gives you pressure, I think it's a lot harder than what people think it is.
Now, you obviously boxed Andy Ruiz too when you won the world title. That's a happier memory to refer back to. Tell me about what it was like being in the ring with him. You and Kev were two of the only people I spoke to in Fight Week who didn't, with the greatest of respect to the other people, who didn't refer to it as a walkover in Joshua's favour. You were very aware of how good Andy Ruiz was. What was it like being in the ring with him? What was he good at? What was he not so good at?
So the positive things of Ruiz was the pressure that he put on. He started fast, and I started slow, and I know that he won the first 3 rounds in the judges' scorecards. And then I think towards the middle and the end of the fight, he sort of dropped his pace, and I was able to pick it up on my side. But the other thing is he's a very good counter puncher. When I throw punches, he comes straight back, and he's good at putting on the pressure. He throws combinations, and his shots are quite powerful.
That's something that surprised a lot of people. He's not really historically been known as much of a puncher. We spoke briefly off camera. You basically said the opposite.
Yeah.
How is his punching power?
Well, before I fought him, I did some sparring with him back in 2013 when I first moved to Vegas, and I didn't know what to expect when I was sparring, because I saw a guy with not the best physique, and I thought, man, I might be better than this guy. And then when I got in there, he chased me around. He punched me the hardest I've ever been punched before, and even to this day. So I knew that he had power, and I think with the punching speed that he has, it's quite sharp, and it's sort of one of those. It's unexpected, and when he hits you, it's very sharp.
Were you surprised that he was able to hurt Joshua as badly as he hurt him? Obviously, the shot that caught him was behind the ear. It's one of those ones that really scrambled the senses. Did it surprise you how often he was able to get to him?
I think, with the punch on the top of the head, I think that's a very hard punch to recover from. And I don't think he recovered well from that sort of, where was it? Behind the ear, on top of the head. So, and then, when you haven't recovered from that punch, and then obviously Ruiz is putting on the pressure and throwing combinations, it's very hard to get away from him.
A lot of people are talking about a rematch, Joshua versus Ruiz. I think that's certainly the most likely scenario. Based on what you've seen, you've shared the ring with both guys as well. What do you think of a rematch? What does each man need to do differently? What does each man need to do the same if that was to happen?
I think both men will come back better, and I think they'll they have the clip to watch and sort of change and adjust a few things in camp. I think Ruiz will come back fitter, better, stronger, and I think maybe you put on more pressure. And I think Joshua just needs to, I know him and his team know what they're doing, and I think he needs to box from the outside, and I think he just needs to break him down. Ruiz is a type of fighter you need to break down. If you break him down, he'll start to slow down.
Now, the fight against Andy Ruiz in New York came off the back of you signing with Matchroom. A lot of people looked at that as you potentially being lined up for a possible rematch with Anthony Joshua down the line. Now Andy Ruiz has knocked Anthony Joshua out. How does that make you feel? I mean, do you feel like a potential carrot has been taken away? I mean, how does that make you feel?
The boxing is one of those sports where anything can happen, and it's just showed when they fought that anything can happen, anyone can win. You know, on the night, Andy Ruiz was the better man, and obviously there were, you know, going around that we might have the opportunity to fight him again for a rematch, but now, you know, things change. And I think Andy Ruiz, you know, obviously got the win, got on him and his team. He's worked very hard, you know, for a long time, and so I think now they're going to have the rematch, and it just opens up the division a lot more now.
You mentioned that opening up the division a lot more. The last time we spoke about people considering there to be kind of a top three at that point of Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. All due respect to yourself, of course. How do you see the landscape now after that? Tyson Fury is ranked at #1 by Ring Magazine. Deontay Wilder has the WBC title. Andy Ruiz is unified champion. How do you think that result leaves the heavyweight landscape?
I think it leaves it wide open. But you know, you got those two at the top now. You know, Fury. I think my personal opinion, Fury's at the top at #1. Wilder's at #2, and then now it's pretty much open. Obviously, Ruiz winning the belt and unified champion. He's right up there. So, but there's a lot of opportunities to make big fights, and it's a good time for us to be part of the heavyweight division.
And Tyson Fury is in action this Saturday. Boxes Tom Schwartz at the MGM Grand. Just first and foremost, you and Tyson have a very interesting relationship. We again spoke about this very briefly. One of the videos or the images that sticks in my mind is you guys doing the haka when Tyson looked a little bit different to what he looked like now. Explain kind of the origins of your friendship with Tyson and what kind of impact and relationship you have.
I was actually talking to Tay the other day about how it all started, and it started with the Periscope days. Do you remember Periscope on Twitter? You know, every time you went and did a sort of a live video, we'll go on and show him our support. And then from then, you know, when I fought his cousin, even though I was fighting his cousin in Manchester, we became very good friends. And, you know, he's shown me a lot of respect since then and still now. It's quite amazing the transformation that he went through, you know, back in Manchester till now. He's physically and mentally in great shape. He's looking quite dangerous, and the movement that he, the movement that he has is it's very interesting to watch, you know, and it's quite amazing for someone his size.
Now, I know that you've shared camps together, or parts of camps, even as recently as this fight, before you surprised us all and flew over to New York. Have you sparred Tyson?
No, I haven't sparred him. You know, we did have the opportunity to have him and his team here, and you know, Kevin Barry was holding pads for him. I was doing pads with Ben, and so it was good for us just to, you know, I consider him #1, so it's good to mix and mingle, train along each other, and sort of just, you know, see what each other does. And you know, our friendship is a great friendship.
What was that like working with Ben Davison? I mean, I know you've worked with Kevin for a long time. You've got a great relationship with Kevin that really goes past kind of fighter and trainer. What was it like working with another trainer, even for a little while?
It was, you know, Ben's younger than myself, but you know, the work that he's been doing with Tyson and what they've achieved together is quite amazing, right? Remarkable. So for me, you know, you sort of do training with other trainers and you pick up a few things here and there that might work for you. So it was very interesting, and I enjoyed it.
Is the Fury fight something that you'd be interested in the future? I know you have this kind of special relationship, but people will put those things to one side for boxing. Is that what would happen if that opportunity presented itself?
I think if it made sense, if it was worth something, if it made both of us a lot of money, you know, I might sit down and go, hey bro, you keen to fight? But yeah, listen, if it made sense, but other than that, I wouldn't fight him for any other reason.
Are you going to be coming along on Saturday to watch the fight?
I'll be there supporting, cheering him on, you know, with my Fury banner.
What do you make of his fight? We've just been interrupted by Kevin Barry. We're 9 minutes in, Kev.
9 minutes?
Don't make me sort you. Don't make me sort you out. Back to the interview. Let's talk about you. So you've got your fight coming up. Eric Molina, kind of the world's worst kept secret when you signed. He's gone now, thankfully. Talk to me about that fight.
I think it's a great fight for us. First fight with Matchroom and first fight here in, well, not first fight in the States, but sort of a welcoming fight back here in the States. And it's good for us to fight someone from here. And we just got to go out there and make a statement.
Now, he's boxed several other heavyweight contenders. How much do you read into that when you're looking at preparing for somebody like Molina?
he's done great against the champions, all the people that he has fought against, and his record is very good. So I just leave it to my coach to analyze, his fights and the positive and negative things that he does, and sort of come up with a game plan that he'll pass on to me, and I'll do my best to execute it the best I can.
What's left for you? I mean, you're younger than me. I know we just had this conversation, which made me feel great. You've achieved so much more than me, and you're younger than me. But what's left out there for you? You're, forgive me for saying it, probably financially secure on the back of the Joshua fight and the Dillian Whyte fight. You've become world champion. You're still a young man with a young family. What is it that motivates you to continue in boxing?
Before I was doing it for myself, but doing it for everyone else. But now I want this way more than I've ever wanted it before. I want to be champion again. I want to be unified champion. I'm doing everything right now. It took me a long time to, realize that it's important to train when I'm home, and so I have a lot of drive, and I'm motivated, and I have the right people around me. I have a great team who also wants the same goal that I have. So we've got a lot more to bring and a lot more to show in the heavyweight division.
Did the losses to Joshua and Whyte kind of make you think about things like that, about training in between camps and kind of reassess your career?
Those losses definitely helped in many ways, and I think it's made me a better fighter and better at training. And so I'm just excited because a lot of people are saying, you're finished now, you should be done, and you've had your chance, but there's a lot more to come.
Okay, well, we look forward to it. Joseph Parker, always a pleasure sitting down with you. Thanks for having me down to Team Barry Gym here today. Lovely setup you've got. Look forward to catching up with you soon. Fa!
Fa so fort.
Cheers, mate.